This has always been my biggest problem within the legal industry. You're not giving me that experience, so you're not giving me the opportunity to prove that I can do the work. Give me the opportunity to at least prove that I can. The legal industry is a very, very, very tough market. It's slowly becoming quite saturated as well. I've had that many rejections that it's honest, I almost feel quite numb to it. You start to almost question yourself and you're like, oh my goodness, like, should I be doing this? Am I doing this right? Have I been doing this all wrong? Like, why are certain people in a better position than I am? Like, what are they doing that's so different to what I'm doing? Why am I not in the same position? You start to like ask yourself so many questions. I don't know, this can be external pressure, or it can just be the pressure that you're placing on yourself. Have to work hard for what you want and chase what you want, because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. And cut, we're back. Welcome back to another episode of Being B. We're back for another episode. We are getting towards the finish line now. We're slowly getting towards the end. So far so good. So far everything's going well. I'm loving, the reaction from everyone so far. Personally, personal messages, direct messages that you're sending me. Like, I'm loving it. Even if there's anything bad you want to say, as long as it's constructive, we're good. Like, I'm all for constructive criticism. We're all about growing and evolving. So any any form of criticism, I will take on board and of course look to improve, because that's what we're all about. Yeah, as we're getting towards the end, I've just been, reflecting again on a few things. This is me, I just reflect a lot on a lot of things. So I before we go into today's episode, which is going to be on societal pressure. Oh, pressure, pressure, pressure. Yes, there's a lot of pressure in society right now about, where we should be, in life. If you've not done this, you've not achieved this, you're not married, you don't have a house, and all of that stuff. If you've not had any of that at a particular stage in your life, that you're a failure and that you're not doing well, which is all false. Newsflash, newsflash. Unfortunately, life does not look like that for everyone, you know? But we're going to get into all of this a little bit later. But before we do, as always, let's catch up. Let's, have a little chat about how everyone's week's been. Like, how has your week been? Have you been up to anything nice? Anything apart from work, actually? Today we're not going to talk about work, because I come on here every single week and I tell you that I've been working because I'm a workaholic. So today we're not going to do that, because you already know that that's what I do, and that's what I'll always tell you. So I think today what I want to know is how you're doing, as I do always. But tell me how you're doing. How's your week been? Have you been up to anything nice? Have you got exciting things coming up? Are you working on exciting stuff? Whether that's something personally for you, that could be to run a marathon, could be to open up a business, anything. I hope that your week's been okay. I wish you, a great weekend ahead. I know if you're watching this right now, it's Saturday evening in the UK. And yeah, we don't have, we're not sweeping the house today because the house is actually clean. We don't have anything to brush up on. I just wanted to know how you're doing. And oh, there was actually something I wanted to talk about. Oh, I forgot. Oh, guys, my mind's gone black. There was something I really wanted to. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, something that. Yeah, so I was at a very interesting. I had a meeting. I was at a webinar. It was just an online um, session that I was at. And it was really, really insightful, actually. As you probably already know, I've mentioned this so many times. Still in the process of looking for work, which hasn't been difficult. It's been a lot more. difficult than I ever imagined. I genuinely thought, oh, I finished uni, I've got my degrees, I've got 2 degrees. Surely I'm literally going to be like, a lot of firms are going to want to like, okay, let's get this person in, let's get this young man in, let's get him to start working. But no, guys, guess what? It don't work like that. It has been so difficult. It has been really hard finding a job. And I was, yeah, like I was saying, I was at a very insightful webinar about the job market at the moment. It was very interesting. Again, this reiterated the fact that when I'm getting no's, I shouldn't let that get to me personally, because you don't know why a lot of these firms already have ideal candidates they have in mind for the specific role that they're advertising for. And just because they've said no to you does not mean that you're not capable of doing the work. It doesn't, you shouldn't then question your ability to work in that particular field or sector, whatever that may be. It's just, unfortunately, a no at that moment in time. And also, just, I guess, something for you to also think that this wasn't a firm for you. And if it was a firm for you, that would have gone well. But this is just in relation to the sector that I'm looking to go into. So, yeah, the webinar was interesting. It was more so about what the job market is at the moment, what applications are like, what firms are looking for, the types of candidate, whether that's someone who's just recently graduated and has no experience apart from the degree that they have? Or are they looking for someone who's more experienced, who's already worked in that particular sector that they're hiring for? It really is one of those things that you just cannot blame yourself. And I've had to learn to, although I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sit here and say that it's not easy when you get that rejection letter or that rejection email to say, unfortunately, it's not you. Unfortunately, we found someone who's better experienced. Unfortunately, we're not going to be taking you on with no reason. I'm not going to lie and say that it's easy to take in, because it's not. You see that it is very disappointing. But what I've had to learn is to not take it personal. I say that because a lot of these firms receives thousands of applications, and it is just a process of elimination. They have to narrow down out of a pool of, I don't know, thousands, literally select a few, and they have to be very, very specific about what they're looking for. And if that's not you, unfortunately, you're just not what they're looking for at the moment. And yeah, I've really had to just learn to kind of, I don't want to say not care, because I do care, of course. I do want to get a job in the sector that I'm looking to eventually qualify in. But to kind of, yeah, not take it personal and just think rejection is redirection. Okay? A rejection is just a redirection. Just because one person has said no doesn't mean that I'm going to go somewhere else and they're going to say no. That should just be for me to kind of, keep going, keep moving, and eventually, however long that takes, I will get to, the firm that is right for me, and it will all make sense. And then you'll look back at all these days and think, oh my goodness, like, why was I stressing? Like, stressing for what? So that's, yeah, that's very much it. But the webinar itself was kind of, went dove into things. Sorry, we went into things that were, I found very interesting. I said to myself, and I was like, wow, so that is how it is. And when they're looking for candidates, some of them will just want someone who's already experienced, who already has the experience in that. So I'm not the person, because someone else has the experience. So why would they want to spend the time, the resources, and the finances to be able to train me when they can just take someone who already has, I guess, that upper hand? And this has always been my biggest problem within the legal industry. This may apply to other um, industries as well. I don't know, but if you're not giving me that experience, so you're not giving me the opportunity to prove that I can do the work. Yes, I've not yet had the experience in the role that you're looking for, but give me the opportunity to at least prove that I can. Otherwise, I'm not going to have the experience. And something that I really remembered when the speaker of the webinar was speaking, he said, what was it that he said? Gosh, my mind's gone blank. Um, guys, my mind's gone blank. Gosh, say that that was so important. It'll come back to me. And yeah, anyways, as I was saying, give me the experience, give me the opportunity to be able to prove that I can do the work. Otherwise, I'm not gonna gain that opportunity. Oh yes, I remember. There it is. Yeah. So he was saying, especially as a graduate or as a paralegal, someone starting off, especially in the legal industry, getting that first job is so difficult. Trying to get land the first job, you will make numerous applications, you will have a number of rejections, but you have to keep going. Landing that first job is the most difficult part of all of this. Once you've landed the first job, you've gained the experience. Everything else after that, in theory, should be a lot easier. It doesn't make what's to come a lot easy, because it isn't. The legal industry is a very, very, very tough market. It's slowly becoming quite saturated as well. There are a number of people who are making applications. You don't just have UK residents applying for like these roles. You have overseas people as well applying. There are a number of applicants, and firms have to be very strict in their approach to recruiting for talent. And it's just, I guess, a case of you sink or you swim, and you just keep fighting, keep applying, and that's all I keep telling myself. I've had that many rejections that it's honest. I almost feel quite numb to it. I don't know if that's a good thing, but I still care, and I will still continue to apply until I do eventually land the job. And when I do, trust me, I will be telling you about it. I'll be announcing it here. Woo! Um, so we just keep going. We keep going. If you're also listening and you're maybe going through the same thing, um, others who appreciate if you've got any tips, or if you know anyone who may have some advice. Is there anything I'm doing wrong? Is there anything I should be doing? I would really be open to, having a chat, having a conversation with anyone. Just send me a message either on our um, Instagram or my Instagram, and I'm so happy to have a chat and just have some guidance. And yeah, that's very much it. That was the webinar. It went really well, and I'm just really, I think right now I'm in a very very happy place in like my life. Um, Work wise, I know I said I wasn't gonna go too much into work. Just getting by, I guess. It's obviously not what I want to do. It's not the work that I see myself doing. I'm just there because it's working at the moment. And when, of course, the my dream job comes along, I'll be taking it with both hands. So that's kind of everything for just a little catch up, just seeing how you all are, how the week's been, and we're now gonna go into the main part of the episode. So, as I already said, we'll be talking about societal pressure, pressures in society, the pressures that society place on us that can really weigh us down. It can really have like, it can really take you down, and you think you start to almost question yourself, and you're like, oh my goodness, like, should I be doing this? Am I doing this right? Have I been doing this all wrong? Like, why are certain people in a better position than I am? Like, what are they doing that's so different to what I'm doing? Why am I not in the same position. You start to like ask yourself so many questions. And yeah, especially being at the age that if you're around the similar age as myself, you start to already, I don't know, this can be external pressure, or it can just be the pressure that you're placing on yourself to meet those the society's expectations of where a person should be at a particular part of their life. For instance, if you're in your mid 20s, you feel like by your mid 20s you should be married, or you feel like by your 30s you should have a house, you should have kids, children, be married, be settled, a good job, and all of that jazz. And it's all these things that we're surrounded by in society. And unfortunately, we can't escape that. It's really just a case of you trying to and telling yourself that this is just not where I'm meant to be. If you're not there, if by the age of 30 you're not married and you don't have kids, but you're surrounded by people who have already achieved those things and already have kids and have bought houses, that it's okay. It is okay. You've just got to keep, persevering. Perseverance is key. Push through and just keep trying. The more pressure you keep placing on yourself, the more you're going to start destroying yourself internally. And that's going to even start affecting your ability to look for ways that you can have relationships with people, the way that you can even improve on yourself to be able to get to that goal. So putting that much pressure on yourself is not healthy at all. I know it's not easy. I know it is difficult. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's difficult to dismiss that. Sorry, it's easy to dismiss the fact that you'll be surrounded by all of these pressures of being at certain part times or having attained certain things by a certain age, because it ain't. It ain't. If life was that easy, we would all have been there. If life was that simple, we'd have all been married, we'd have bought homes, houses, had kids, and had good jobs. But life just ain't that easy. Sometimes you gotta work for it because things just can't be handed to you on a plate. For other people, they've grown up in fortunate positions where they've had everything that they needed to have, but there's also been an element of hard work. I believe that nothing in this life comes easy. I'm a great believer in have to work hard for what you want and chase what you want, because if you don't, no one else is going to do it for you. If you don't, nobody else is going to do it in your place. Only you know what you want, and only you should go and chase for those things. So, like I said, no one is going to do it in your place, and it's just down to you. So you make a decision as to whether you're gonna allow these pressures to eat you up, or are you going to take action? Are you going to start, whether that's in relationships, like putting yourself out there, putting yourself in situations where you're likely to encounter people. If you're looking for a relationship, it's no good you just sitting at home and hoping that your future partner just lands on your lap. I know I once upon a time I had that mentality, but I was not at a stage in my life where I was ready to uh settle. I am now. I'm looking. I have other priorities, but it is one of my priorities. And I want to make sure that when I, of course, settle down, I'm with somebody who is going to be supportive, someone who I am going to take care of. Because women, women want a lot of your time. I think in relationships, it's not just about the money. It's not just about, I don't know. I think money is, of course, a big part of it. back to money talk again. Surprise, surprise. Um, However, I do think women just want a lot of your time. They want someone who is going to be there for them, someone who's caring, someone who's going to support them, and you know that's all they ask for. And I don't think that's a lot to ask for. I therefore want to make sure that when I am ready to properly settle down, that I can take care of my future wife. I can take care of her, make sure that she's properly taken care of, because the last thing I want is to go into a relationship that I can't take care of, and I can't even take care of myself, and I'm not responsible enough to be able to take care of you know the woman that I'm with. So if it's that, just making sure before you do anything that you've of course thought about it, before you engage in anything that you don't want to regret later on. So don't fall for the pressure. It's difficult. You'll have family as well, and it can be very easy to just be like, oh yeah, let me just do it to please my family, just to stop the noise. Don't do it. Do not do it, guys. It's not healthy at all. I don't know how much more I can stress, you know, the importance of that. Being able to make sure that you're happy, putting your happiness at the forefront is honestly so important. And that is all I have to say for now. We're now going to go on to the next section of the episode. As you already know, it's time for Be Reddit. Let's see what story we have for this week. Okay, so this one reads: Everyone around me is married with kids, and I can barely commit to a weekend plan. Damn. It's, that's how you know it's getting tough. That's how you know you're getting old. Joking. Right, so a 30-year-old female, hit a milestone birthday recently, and instead of celebrating, I spiraled. Oh my word. Why did you spiral? Let's get into it. Okay. I looked around and realized that almost every one of my friends is either married, engaged, pregnant, or already have a couple of kids. They're posting baby showers, house keys. We said yes to the dress, and I'm over here cancelling dinner plans because the idea of socializing after work gives me actual chest pains. Okay, well, that this doesn't sound good already. But first of all, you've the thing at hand here, right? You've just hit an important milestone, in your life. 30 is a big, no, big 30. Like, what I see is 30 is like the new 20s. I don't even think 30 is that old. Like, the way that when we were younger, we used to think, oh, when I turn 30, I'm like going to be like an old man and an old woman. But 30 is actually not that old. I genuinely see 30 as like the new 20s. Don't you? I mean, I hope you do, because 30, first of all, celebrate that. Focus on the positives. Like, focus on the positives here. Stop focusing about those that are around you, comparing yourself. It is natural that that's going to happen, but really try and focus what is positive at the moment, which is the fact that you have literally turned 30 years old. There are people who have not been able to see 30 years of life. They've not made it to 30. So be grateful for that. You know, be happy that you're alive, you're well, you're fit, you've made it to 30, and focus on that as the positive. Okay, let's continue. Right. I haven't even been in a serious relationship in over 3 years. I tried dating, but honestly, it's hard when social anxiety makes messaging someone back feel like a task. Meeting someone in person, exhausting. Oh, okay. It's not that I don't want love or companionship. I do. But the pressure of it all just makes me shut down. Yeah, I can understand that. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure. Family gatherings are worse. The question always comes: still single? Don't you want kids? You're not getting any younger. Those three questions. still single, don't you want kids, and you're not getting any younger. This is so funny because those are the questions that I personally ask myself them as well. I mean, I don't know, I tell myself that um I'm not getting any younger. I'm really not. And time is ticking, time is moving, and I do want kids, and I'm still single. Like, how am I gonna have kids when I'm still single? Like, guys, I want all of these things. That's not even coming from outside pressure. It's more so just the pressure that I place on myself, which isn't good, which isn't good at all. But I think I've definitely been able to like deal with that and try to avoid getting too much into my head and listening too much to outside noise. Too much outside noise is it's not good. It is not good. But anyways, we'll continue. It says, I want to scream. I'm trying my best just to function. That should be enough. It should, of course. Okay. So because you're always asked these questions, you're essentially you feel like you want to scream, like, I'm trying my best. Is that not enough? Like what more should I do? What more do you want from me? But instead, I smile and laugh it off while feeling like I'm falling behind in a race I didn't even sign up for. Ooh, that's a deep one. Yeah. Smiling it off, feeling like you're falling behind in a race you didn't even sign up for. Yeah, I can again relate to that one. But let's see what else there is. Um, I'm not unhappy with my life, not really. I've done things I'm proud of. I've traveled alone, made it through rough patches in therapy, built a freelance career I love, but none of these things seem to count unless they come with a partner, a registry, and a save the date. In other words, a wedding. Sometimes I wonder if something's wrong with me, or if I'm just if I'm just wired differently. Someone who needs a little more time, a little more space, and a little less noise to grow into who I'm supposed to be. I'm learning that late doesn't mean lost, but it's hard to remember that when the world acts like you're expired by 30. 30, that number, 30. The magic number, I guess. The special number, number 30. Um, yes. Yeah, there's an expectation, and this might not be for everyone. You might not feel this pressure. You might not have all this external societal pressure weighing you down. And but this is me speaking to those that are potentially feeling like they're at the age where you've got family members that are on you and they're like, oh, you need to do this. Like, when are you getting married? When are you having kids? Like, what's going on? And you just think, like, this is a lot. This is a lot, guys. Let me just have some time. Let me even like you can barely commit to a weekend plan. Like, how are you going to take care of a family? It doesn't help that you have all of this pressure on you, um, and it's just like it's a lot. This is a lot, and I just think being able to block out all of these noise is the way that you can go forward. Yes, I know the thing is right. I know your family want the best for you. They just want you to be happy, and it's just a way of encouraging you to like, come on, what's next? What are you gonna do? But sometimes as well, maybe also speaking out. If you feel like it's becoming a lot for you to be able to take, if it's just just every now and then reminding you and saying, "Oh, you've hit this milestone. What's next?" Just so it's just something as simple as that. Then I guess it's not that deep. But if it's constantly saying like, what's going on, you're being reminded of something and you're finding that it's becoming too much and it's quite overwhelming and taking a lot on you, then it's worth, saying something and just expressing how you feel, and just stating that you're not yet at that stage. You might have other priorities at the moment. You might have a career that is flourishing that you want to focus on, for the time being. And right now, that's just what your priority is. Your priority isn't to be married, right now, to have kids, and it's different. We all have, different priorities. If that's not what it is for you, then there's no rush. There's no reason for you to start rushing and allowing this to really affect you, because if that is affecting you, it's going to start to also affect other areas in your life, which can, you know in future, affect many things. I don't think that's a good place, to be at. It's definitely not a good place. Certainly, being able to speak about this, is a good way of relieving and feeling relieved. Sorry, feeling a little bit more. It's like, okay, I feel good. Like, right, there's no pressure. It's all going well. Because the last thing you want is going into a certain relationship, especially when you are ready to, settle down and marry. Marriage is a one time thing. Like, nobody plans to get married to later divorce. That's never anyone's, plan going into a marriage. So you want to, of course, make a decision that you know is going to be a forever thing. So, of course, that is a huge decision. Like, marriage is a very, very important decision that you'll make. So, being able to make the right decision, again, for any of my Christians listening, out here, praying, for this, praying that God sends you someone who walks the same path as you, who will be with you, a woman, who's going to support you and help you elevate, or praying for a man who's going to support you equally and take care of you and love you. That's all you can pray for. And I think making that decision is really important. So you don't want to go into something that you really aren't fully into, because you don't want to. Divorce is just never the end goal. And I don't think, and if that means that you need to take a little bit more time to search until you find the right person, then so be it. If that's the case, if that's the situation, so be it. I would much rather it's taken me 10 years to find the woman I'm looking for, who I'm going to be with for the long term, for the rest of my life, than I rush into something and settle down with someone who we later start having problems because we didn't take the time to know each other. You're not going to always know 100%, of one another, because you really get to know, um, someone's true self, and the way that they behave and their characteristics when you're actually living with that person. Trust me, you really do. You really do. I use this example of, being at uni, living with people. Ugh, yikes. It is not for the weak. Guys, living with people, uni opens your eyes to a lot of things. That's just not, in a relationship, setting, but I'm kind of making a similar comparison with, living with strangers. Essentially, you're marrying or getting into a relationship with a stranger, but you'll never know 100% of someone. If you have found, somebody who has 70 or 80% of the qualities you look for in a partner, go for it. Like, again, for me, faith is really important for me. Like, I always center everything around prayer. I'll always pray, on this, and always allow God to guide me, to the right person. So if I found 80% of the qualities I look for in a woman, like, I wouldn't, because it's not possible to find 100% of the qualities that you look for in a woman, because at that stage you're never going to show your 100% self. There'll always be certain things that are kind of kept and reserved, which you end up finding out when you're, living together. But I always say, if you find that percentage and you're happy to go with that and compromise, then the remaining 20 you can allow to work with, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine, because we're not all perfect. Not a single one of us is perfect. So to be able to say that I'm not going to settle down unless my partner has 100% of the qualities I look for is a lie. Guess what? I'm going to break it to you. Newsflash, it's a lie, because you're never going to find 100%. And if you're looking for 100%, trust me, you're going to be dead by the time that you find that. Sorry, that's just how it is. And like I said, keep, just try to not allow this to really get to you. Huh. Okay, as we're getting to the end of the episode, I'm going to leave you with 3 points to note. Thoughts for the week, thoughts for the day, thoughts for the evening, whenever you're listening to this. Um, and I'm just going to give you, I guess, my 3 ways of avoiding pressure, societal pressure, that I think are quite important. You might, this might help you. You might not even like or agree with this. You might even agree with one of them. But point number 1 is to stay focused on your purpose. Remain focused always. If you know what your purpose is, if you don't, but always, I think the point is staying focused in whatever it is you're doing. If that's not your purpose, but just remaining focused. Point number 2, remember who you are. Always remember that. Always remember who you are, what you stand for, what you don't stand for, and just be yourself. Be yourself, be your true self, and that's the way forward. And point number 3 is to block the outside noise. Block, block, block. Block up, block up, block up, block up. Block the outside noise. I think listening to too much outside noise can really sometimes play with your head, play with your mind a little bit when you're hearing too many opinions, too many irrelevant opinions, too many not so useful opinions can really affect you. So block them out, block out, block out, block out, block out. Okay? Yeah. I hope that was clear. That was me biting. That was me telling you, actually. I hope that was very clear, and that you can take even at least one of those points. And that's it. I think that's probably the perfect place to wrap everything up. That's another episode wrapped. We're back again next week for the final episode of the season. I'm going to actually explain this in the next episode, actually. I'm going to explain the whole format of the podcast and how it's going to work, what sort of things we have coming up, the sort of ideas I've got in mind. So tune in next week to hear about all of that. But yeah, that will be our final recording. We're really going to get into it. Make sure you're back again as things are now going, moving forward. We're getting comfortable. And I can't wait to hopefully have you back again. Well, I hope you're back again. So the usual, like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel down below. Make sure you leave your notification bells turned on so that you're always notified as soon as I am uploading. Guys, we need to keep it pushing. I'm going to keep reminding you, make sure you're subscribing. In fact, I'm going to just wait for a moment whilst you go there. You click on subscribe. You click on like. And then we'll continue. I'm sure I've given you enough time there. But, anyways, make sure you're doing that. Also, don't forget, we're also on Spotify. Make sure you like, you comment, and you follow on Spotify as well. Guys, as always, stay brave, stay bold, stay brilliant, and just be your incredible self. Let's keep growing. I'll see you again for another episode next week. Bye, guys.